Folks, we need to talk about this weird, never discussed romantic fantasy that some of y'all have about Africa. Because what you imagine Africa is and what Africa actually treats you like are not the same thing. A lot of Black Americans go over there expecting a homecoming. Drums and hugs and welcome back my brother and my sister. But instead, y'all, you're treated like the bastard of the family. And before you say, Doc, how you know? I've been to Africa more times than you can count. And let's be honest, in many places, you are seen as gullible, unserious, inferior, not royalty, not lost family, but a walking wallet.
Okay. What's going on, everyone? Reggie Haynes here. And today I'm reacting to Dr. O Explains video. She is a certified doctor, and I believe she's from the same state that I was born and raised in, Texas. Now, of course, I am currently living in Africa. And from what I could already see in this video is to where I know on my channel, I've talked about how I've had mistreatments in Africa, but I've also talked about how I've had great experiences in Africa. And I totally understand where this queen is coming from. There are certain places where you go within the motherland to where you have people that definitely, they don't like you just based off of you being melanated and coming from the West. And that all has to do with toxic programming. You got to remember too, the way that colonizers work, they will create certain dividers in order to keep you divided and easily conquered amongst your own people. There's language barriers. There's, like she said, a walking ATM machine or a wallet. There's different things that people put on our people from Africa and our people from the West in order to make it seem like we're a certain way. So that way you can be like, ooh, I'll never trust those people, or ooh, I'll never trust them either. It's all about division. And my thing is to where when I've seen people that aren't for me, when I see people who treat me like a walking ATM machine, when I see people who treat me as if I'm an outsider, or as she said, the bastard of the family, I always stay away from them, because I know that these are people who are clearly slave-minded. And when you are slave-minded, you're not for the people, you're for the oppressor who wants to keep you going against your people.
And here's the part a lot of people don't like to say out loud. Africans often treat white foreigners better than they treat your black ass.
So I remember I was in Zimbabwe, and I was this is a two-part story, but I'll get to the root. I was I was waiting for a guy who had me waiting outside. He was from Zimbabwe, a very well-known man. I ended up working with him from the kindness of my heart. That's another story for another day. But he had me waiting out for a meeting outside in the scorching heat for 3 hours. While I was out there, I was at this coffee shop, and there's this Caucasian man who had long hair, and he was just on his laptop. 3 employees within the coffee shop came outside. Never did they check on me. And they went outside, and they actually went up to this man while he was on his computer, had his headphones in, and said, hey, can we take selfies with you? And he was confused. And he was like, may I ask why? Did I do something wrong? And she said, one of the lady who initiated the conversation said, no, you look like white Jesus, and we would love to take a picture with you. And they were so ecstatic and they were so happy. And I'm watching this and I'm disgusted, because I'm like, you literally have people who left customers inside, who were melanated just like them, who were from Zimbabwe just like them, I assume. You had me outside in the scorching heat. Nobody checked on me. But you go to this man who's minding his own business, and you go and praise him because he looks like white Jesus. And that right there made me sick to my stomach. What even made me more sick is that I eventually had this conversation with other people from the West who moved to Africa, etc. And everybody was like, well, Reggie, you know, that's the way it is. No. Anytime you are programmed to praise your oppressor, that is a massive no, because it just shows that you are clearly colonized. So my thing is to where I have seen this multiple times, to where I would blatantly get mistreated, disrespected, and somebody would go over and treat somebody outside of their race better than they treat me. And that's backwards thinking. And that's something that should never happen and must not continue to happen within our communities, not just within Africa, but globally.
Why? Because colonialism didn't just leave buildings and borders, it left mindsets. White proximity still equals value. And Black Americans, we're seen over there in Africa as loud and lazy and cursed, not taking advantage of the opportunities here in America. So when I hear, oh, Africans love us, I have to ask, which Africans, where, and under what conditions? Because praising whiteness while looking down on us isn't liberation, it's white supremacy in Black skin. And while some of y'all are chasing acceptance overseas, y'all are ignoring the fact, some critical facts. Your roots are right here in America.
So there's a lot to unpack on what this queen just said. So for me, this is my take on it. When it comes in regards to how she's talking about colonialism, I never use the phrase white supremacy because there's nothing supreme about people outside of our race. We are the most supreme people, the melanated, the original people. So I try not to use this terminology white supremacy because, like other words, programming definitely does it exists. So I'll never try to claim something outside of the original people, us, as being superior or supreme. But I get what she's saying. It has run amok. It has taken over a lot of minds, like even the English language. People forget the English language is a evil language. But at the same time, while using it, use it as a way to communicate. So that way you can know how to communicate properly with your own, so you do not fall for the tricks of the trade. I tell people all the time, like there's been so many times within Africa, back in America, the UK, Canada, etc. I would literally see a person who's not realizing that they're being scammed by somebody outside of their race because they don't know certain terminologies that are used by these people. So I would have to try to pull them to the side and be like, man, hey, I wouldn't do that if I were you. And these people say, no, Reggie, you don't know what you're talking about, whatever. And I feel like they brush me off based off of the way that I look, based off of the way that I present myself. And a lot of people do think of me as, you know, a thug. A lot of people do think of me as loud. I got told today that I'm too goddamn loud. So my thing is to where when people use these propagandas, it's automatically showing you that they have been colonized mentally. They have been colonized spiritually. And that's something that we have to break away from. She also mentioned that what part of Africa are these people from? What part of Africa do people show you love? And I'm here to say this. And first off, I want to thank this queen for, you know, sharing this video and having her thoughts and opinions. And I will say, I'm not saying that she's wrong, but I will say that there is a flip side to everything that she's saying. In my life, I've realized that if something's not for me, I stay far away from it. I'm not going to go back to it. Why? Because I've already given it too many chances, and it showed me who it truly is. Why would I go back to something that I know isn't for me? If this particular thing changed for the better, that's on them. I already know that I can't allow myself to be sucked into a world that's not for me, that's going to try to turn me into something that's not for me, and then think that that's progression. No, it's not. So I will say that to say this as well. I've been to many places in Africa and I've been mistreated, but I've been to many places in Africa, and I've been to many places in America and the UK, and I've been treated in the most phenomenal way possible. Have I had ceremonies thrown for me? Long story short, I went to my sister's graduation to go visit her back in mid 2025. And when I came back to the school that I was volunteering at in Zimbabwe, a place where I thought everybody hated me, I walk into the gate and everybody's acting weird. I'm like, okay, did I do something wrong? Am I fired? Like, did y'all let me go? And there's even video footage out there of them having a celebration just to welcome me back. Last time I experienced that was on my graduation day when my mom set up a graduation party for me. And it just goes to show that there's a lot of similarities between Africa and people who are born in the West, who are melanated, who are the original people. You are going to get celebrated in some places. You are going to be appreciated. And I feel this lady's frustration. I've been there. But I will say this. If you are a person from the West and you have resided to America, I think it's only fair that if you reach out to someone like this queen, it's up to you to make sure that you point her in the right directions of, hey, this is a place where you go. This is a place where you don't go. Anytime there are people within Africa that come to me and they're like, hey, Reggie, you know, I want to go to America. I always say, what part? What part are you planning on going to? Okay, I don't know. I'm not familiar with that place. If I know somebody there, I will make sure that they look after you. And if any of these people ever step out of line, put me on the phone. That's how it should be, even when somebody from the West comes over to Africa. We have to look out for each other, because if we don't, we're going to feed into a divide that shouldn't even exist to begin with, leading us to be easily conquered by evil. The other thing is, too, I've had some of my greatest moments in Africa. I've met my African godparents. I talk about them all the time, to where when I didn't have a dime because I was scammed out of most, if not majority, if not all of my money while I was in Africa, trusting the wrong people, they took money out of their own pocket, put my mother and put my family on the phone and said, don't worry, Reggie's going to be taken care of, and we don't want nothing in return. We're just showing love to our son, even though he was born in the West and not born here in Africa. We're going to show him love. I think about the people who have offered me interviews and job opportunities to help their communities progress within Malawi, which they call as the warm heart of Africa, which it is, because majority of the people here are the most nicest and friendliest people you ever meet. I've even had interactions with people to where I felt so low, people in Kenya and people in America, and I've done videos on it, reading rude comments, to where they say, oh, suck it up and deal with it. No. I would never tell anybody within our community to tolerate disrespect or present disrespect to one another. That is the lowest form of being a human being. Matter of fact, that's being an inhumane coward. Instead of that, if I see one of my brothers within the motherland or one of my sisters within the motherland struggling, I'm going to do everything in my power to guide them respectfully in order for them to make sure that they have a pleasant stay while they're here. So I totally understand the frustration from this queen, like I said earlier, but Africa has taught me a lot of things. It taught me that there's a lot of people who are colonized here, but just as many that are colonized, there's ones that's not. There's ones that love you. There's ones that respect you. They might not roll out the carpet for you and show you a good ceremony. No, but they're going to treat you with the utmost respect. And that, to me, are the strongest people that walk this earth. That, to me, are the people that I feel like belong in my life, and I know I belong in theirs. So when I see videos like this, I never get frustrated. I see the pain, I see the frustration, because it frustrates me as well, Queen, to see that there's so many people divided and they don't even realize it. They think that's just the way it is, when it's not supposed to be that way. Unity is what abolishes all forms of racism. Unity is what abolishes all forms of evil. And it's unity amongst our original people that will keep us progressing. But we have to really want that. We have to abolish the slave, and we have to abolish the evil within us that has came and crept into us when we didn't even notice it. And once we do that, I feel like that's going to be a great way to progress. So we as a people, no matter whether we're in Africa, no matter whether we're in America, the UK, etc., we'll be just fine. And we'll always have each other's backs and never look at each other as a foreigner, as an outsider, as an enemy. We should always look at each other as family, and we should always treat each other accordingly and live accordingly. So all in all, I appreciate Dr. O Express for this particular video. And I know I talked a lot about, how I've even had my issues with, people from the motherland, possibly hating me. And, to check out that particular video, click the link on screen.